Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dr. Howard Jean Denis, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about three different industries that I get asked about a ton as a business professor, and they are investment banking, wealth management, and consulting. So I want to provide a delineation between those three industries and kind of talk about some of the skills and name some of the companies that you may have heard of in the past. So let's get right into it. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen now and I will start the slides. And so this will be a quick video. And so it's entitled How to Find a Role in One of These Three Prestigious Industries. So these industries sound more difficult to get into than they actually are. Obviously, it takes a background, it takes hard work, it takes developing skills, and we're going to talk about that. So first, talking about who the speaker is. My name is Dr. Howard Jean Denis. I have a PhD in strategic management and entrepreneurship. I am a researcher, academic researcher, where I examine different phenomena in the business world, in the United States, in Europe, in Africa, and the Caribbean, so different places. I'm originally from Haiti myself. I've been an entrepreneur in the past. I'm a U.S. military veteran, and I've been a corporate executive in different fields, and so primarily in the fields that we're going to talk about today. So I know a little bit about these fields because I was a former executive at some of these firms I'm talking about now. Okay, so the purpose of this is to define what is the difference between these industries, IB, investment banking, wealth management, consulting. We're going to talk about a little bit about the skills because there are some overlap, but they're not the same skill sets that are required to get into these industries. And I'm going to provide some quick advice to applicants about breaking into these spaces. So let's start with the functions of an investment bank. So you can have this large entity called the investment bank, and it can do a number of things that spill over into wealth management, but not necessarily into consulting. So investment bank does a number of things. It provides advisory services, it provides underwriting services, it provides research and trading services. And so if you look at the image, you'll see that investment bank can be an intermediary between a merger between two different companies. So let's just say Coca-Cola and maybe some other firm wants to come together, or Johnson & Johnson wants to merge with another firm, or one firm wants to buy another firm. So when Apple purchased Beats by Dre, that was an acquisition. If a private firm wants to be publicly listed on a stock exchange, that's called the IPO, initial public offering. So that's another thing investment banks do. Investment banks also create research reports. They provide trading platforms. And so they do a number of services that you see here. They're definitively engaged in corporate finance, restructurings, those type of things. So those are some of the functions of the investment bank. So just a little bit more about that. This is the first category. So the purpose of investment bank is to provide underwriting, advisory services, research, sales, and trading services to clients. These major clients could be municipalities, they could be corporations, they could be private firms who want to go public, and they could also be publicly listed firms that want to do more issues of shares. So examples of the investment banks are Goldman Sachs. It's probably the best known one to most applicants, most students in the public at large. But JP Morgan is actually a larger investment bank, JP Morgan Chase. There's also Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and a ton of others, a lot of smaller ones that you may not have heard of. So some of the skills that you may need to break into a space are quantitative skills. You have to be very savvy with the ability to do things such as financial models, creating a financial model, which is one of the things that we do in my class. You'll be making pitches to clients about acquisitions, about mergers, about different transactions. And so you have to have strong presentation skills. And so the advice I have essentially is to learn the target schools. A lot of these investment banks want to hire people from certain schools, but that doesn't mean that you cannot get into an investment bank if you didn't go to one of these schools, but it makes it a little bit more difficult, but still possible. The hiring cycles, and you want to develop your quantitative skills so you're more marketable. So the next category I want to talk about is consulting firms. So consulting firms are different than investment banks. And so the purpose of consulting firms are to provide solutions to business problems, to problems of a number of nature. So for example, operations problems, financial advisory problems, strategy-related issues. If a firm says we want to do something strategically and we want to change something in their operations, they would come to a consulting firm to solve those needs. Some big names, you see that image there, it's McKinsey. McKinsey is considered to be the largest, most prominent consulting firm, but Bain, Boston Consulting Group, and Accenture are some other examples. And so some of these firms, they do a lot of different things, but they are primarily considered to be consulting firms. If you think about the skills that are needed to be a strong consultant, and so as I mentioned, there's a lot of different types of consulting services that can be provided that you can engage in, but problem resolution is a big part of it. Being able to think critically and to provide concise, succinct solutions to clients, presentation skills, be able to work in teams, work to serve a client, strong customer service skills, and project management, because you could be working on a consulting project for a long period of time, for weeks, months, years, for example. And so the advice I have is to practice case studies. There's a number of case studies that are available for students and working professionals who want to break into the space where you can practice these interview case studies that you may have at a consulting firm, and also to refine your ability to think outside the box, to think abstractly, to think completely, to be able to provide something to the client that they may not be able to think of themselves. And learn the hiring cycles, because some of these firms also have hiring waves. And finally, the third category that gets mixed in with the other two, investment banking and consulting, but is distinct, is wealth management firms. So as you see here, there's two examples, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, that definitely fit into the investment banking category, but also in wealth management. So you can have this big conglomerate that can have commercial banking, investment banking, and wealth management as a division, right? And so the purpose of wealth management is to provide personal finance advice to individuals, families, estates, business owners, that type of thing. So their clients. So some examples are in the image: Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones, Merrill Lynch, UBS, Goldman Sachs, which was also obviously an investment bank based on a couple slides ago. And so the skills, you want to be strong in customer service. You want to be able to sell, because you may have to actually sell yourself as an advisor, as someone who can plan for the clients. Networking skills, because you might have to cross-sell different products, whether it's mortgage to retirement planning, to estate planning, and entrepreneurial skills, because when you get into a role like this, you may have to build a book of business, or you may inherit a book of business. You might enter into a team where you'll have a senior advisor mentoring you. So the advice I have is to review the required exams to manage assets. And so those are exams that I have, being an insider in this industry prior to becoming a P.h.D, a professor. And so the Series 6, Series 7, Series 66 are some examples of the exams. So you consider how you would approach those exams. You can look at sample questions online. Most of these exams will be sponsored by the organization that you'll be working for. So as you'll be developing a book of business, or you'll be inheriting one and working as a team member in a team that's managing assets, think of it as hundreds of thousands, millions, maybe even billions of dollars. You'll be entering into a team and helping them build a book of clients, where you will be considered to have a certain number of assets under management. So $1 million in assets under management, 500,000, 200 million, that you'd be developing over time. Where the firm will give you time to get on the runway and to build 1 client to 5 clients to 10 clients, et cetera. So you'd be thinking about, who would I be bringing on into my book? So that's how, hopefully you can see the difference, how that's different than investment banking and consulting. So that ends the video. Shoot me an email, or if you have any questions, and subscribe to the page where I'll be giving videos talking about different aspects of the business world. You'll see I have different videos on different aspects of analysis and learning about the different aspects of employment, and also research. So I have videos, as you can see, in different languages, and also covering different topics. And if you ever have any desire to learn any specific content, feel free to shoot me an email and I will oblige. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you next time.